Hello, world. Welcome, I am your host Mr. Stag. Today we will be taking a deep dive into Fidelity Investments. Fidelity Investments, commonly referred to as Fidelity, earlier as Fidelity Management and Research or FMR, is an American multinational financial services corporation based in Boston, Massachusetts. The company was established in 1946 and is one of the largest asset managers in the world with $3.6 trillion in assets under management. Now as of September 2022 their assets under administration amounts to $9.6 trillion. Fidelity Investments operates a brokerage firm, manages a large family of mutual funds, provides fund distribution and investment advice, retirement services, index funds, wealth management, securities execution and clearance, asset custody, and life insurance. FMR has three fund divisions: equity, headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts; high income, headquartered in Boston; and fixed income, headquartered in Merrimack, New Hampshire. The company's largest equity mutual fund is Fidelity Contrafund, which has $107.4 billion in assets, making it the largest non-indexed fund in the US and the largest fund managed by an individual. William Danoff has managed Contrafund since 1990. Fidelity Magellan is another large equity fund, with $15.5 billion in assets. Its current manager is Jeffrey Feingold, who also manages the Fidelity Trend Fund. It was previously managed by Ned Johnson from May 2, 1963, to December 31, 1971, Peter Lynch from May 31, 1977, to May 31, 1990, and Harry W. Lang from 2005 to 2012. Under Lynch's leadership, Magellan averaged 29% a year, more than doubling the growth rate of the benchmark S&P 500, and remains the best performing mutual fund in history over such an extended period. Fidelity Investments operates a major brokerage firm and has investor centers in over 140 locations throughout the U.S. Through its subsidiary, National Financial Services LLC, Fidelity Investments provides services to its correspondent broker-dealers, institutional investment firms, banks and trusts, family offices, and registered investment advisors, including brokerage clearing and back-office support and a suite of software products for financial services firms. National Financial was the custodian for over $443 billion in assets, in 4.3 million accounts as of September 30, 2010. Fidelity Personal, Workplace and Institutional Services, PWIS, is the largest provider of 401k retirement plan services with $1.4 trillion under administration and $32 billion in total defined contribution assets, as of 2015. Other services provided include pension administration, health and welfare administration, stock plan administration, as well as payroll and other record-keeping services. The company's Devonshire Investors arm is a division that gives the owners of the company the ability to make other investments outside its funds. The Fidelity Fund was created in 1930. It was not a booming time for the investment industry, reeling from the stock market crash of 1929 and heading into the Great Depression. In 1943, Boston lawyer Edward C. Johnson II bought the fund, which had $3 million in assets under management, and became its president and director. Edward Crosby Johnson II was born on January 19, 1898, was an American businessman and lawyer who founded Fidelity Investments. Johnson came from a family of New England Puritan ancestry. He graduated from Milton Academy, Harvard College and Harvard Law School and became involved in stock market research in 1924. He died in Catawba, Massachusetts of Alzheimer's disease in 1984, and his funeral was held at Milton's Universalist First Parish Church. Sy began running the Fidelity Capital Fund in 1957, buying speculative stocks like Polaroid and Xerox. Gerald Sy Jr. was a billionaire investor and philanthropist who helped build Fidelity Investments into a mutual fund powerhouse. Sy was born to Gerald Sy Sr. and Ruth Sy in Shanghai, where he lived as a child. His mother was a stockbroker and his father was the Shanghai district manager for the Ford Motor Company. Tsai attended St. John's University, Shanghai before moving to the United States in 1947. He attended Wesleyan University for one semester, and graduated from Boston University with a bachelor's and master's in economics. In 1951, Tsai began as a security analyst at Bache & Company. In 1952, he joined Boston's Fidelity Management and Research. After starting Fidelity Investments' first publicly sold aggressive growth fund in 1958, the Fidelity Capital Fund, he later founded the Manhattan Fund, an aggressive growth fund, in 1965. Tsai left Fidelity in 1965, when Johnson reportedly told him that he planned to turn the company over to his son. Tsai sold his Fidelity stock in 1968 but continued to manage the funds. By 1969 the Manhattan funds collapsed, losing 90% of their value. Tsai was an early proponent of momentum investing. Tsai's specialty was concentrating his portfolios on narrow batches of glamour stocks, including Xerox and Polaroid Corporation, at a time when broad diversification was the prevailing wisdom. Tsai later became CEO of a Can Company, American Can Company. He was the first Chinese-American CEO of a Dow Jones Industrials company. In the 1960s, Fidelity was the first major American finance firm to market mutual funds directly to everyday people via direct mail advertising and door-to-door sales. Previously, mutual funds had been marketed almost exclusively to high-income or high-wealth individuals, retirement funds for employers, and/or those already in the finance industry. In 1962, the company established the Magellan Fund, which eventually became the largest mutual fund in the world. In addition, it formed Fidelity Service Company in 1969 to service customer accounts in-house, one of the first fund groups to do so. Ned Johnson succeeded his father as president of Fidelity Investments in 1972, around the time that the market began to take a turn for the worse and investors began to abandon stocks and equity funds and return to the security of savings accounts. In 1973, Johnson began to integrate the company vertically by taking over back-office account processing functions from banks that handled the job for most mutual funds. Consequently, in 1974 he established Fidelity Daily Income Trust, FIDIT, the first money market fund to offer check writing, a revolutionary and instantly successful idea. During Ned's first 2 years as president of Fidelity Investments, the financial market was virtually dormant, and assets shrank by more than 30% to $3 billion in 1974. Ned became the president and CEO of Fidelity Investments in 1977 when his father retired. In 1979, Fidelity Institutional Services was formed to manage relationships with corporate clients. In 1982, FMR Company started offering 401k products. In 1984, it offered computerized stock trading. By 1986, Fidelity had 2,800 employees, 104 mutual funds, $50 billion in assets under management, and more than 2 million customers, 400,000 of them in the $4 billion Magellan Fund. Because Lynch did not invest heavily in conservative stocks and kept very little liquid capital, the Magellan Fund was hard hit by the crash that shook Wall Street on October 19, 1987. In 1988, the year following the crash, Fidelity's revenues were down a quarter and profits were 70% lower. In 1989, with more than $80 billion in assets under management, the firm had more than 9% of the entire mutual fund industry. Plymouth Funds, launched and sold exclusively through broker-dealers, is renamed Fidelity Advisor Funds in 1992. In 1993, the company set up its European offshore development centre as Fidelity Investments Ireland and opened up offices in Galway and Dublin that today employ over 1,000 executives. Several of its divisions suffered serious setbacks in high-risk bond investments such as emerging nation debt and derivative securities when the peso nosedived in December 1994. Yet despite these problems and negative economic factors, Fidelity still managed to beat over 83% of its fund competition, posted increases for most of its business units, and raised assets under management to $297 billion, a climb of nearly 15% for 1994. As Fidelity approached its 50th anniversary in 1996, the third generation of the Johnson family, 34-year-old Abby Johnson, a director of the FMR Corporation and manager of Fidelity's OTC portfolio, with assets nearing $2 billion, had clearly proven herself as an investment manager on the move. Abigail Johnson attended Cambridge, Massachusetts private school Buckingham Brown and Nichols and then graduated from Hobart and William Smith College with a Bachelor of Arts degree in art history in 1984. After working as a consultant at Booz Allen Hamilton, where she met her husband, Johnson completed an MBA at Harvard Business School. Upon graduating from Harvard Business School in 1988, Johnson joined Fidelity Investments. She began as an analyst and portfolio manager. In 1997, Robert Posen was named CEO running Fidelity until 2001. In 2001, Abigail was promoted to president of Fidelity Asset Management. During her time in that position, Johnson unsuccessfully attempted to orchestrate a vote to remove her father as CEO over disagreements about his business decisions. In 2001, Geode Capital Management was established to run and incubate investment strategies for FMR. In 2003, it was spun off as an independent company. In 2003, the company launched its first ETF, called the Fidelity Nasdaq Composite Index Tracking Stock Fund, (NEQ). In an effort to increase its global impact, Fidelity Investments, in 2004, also established a major presence in India with a back-office-focused setup in Mumbai, India, which employs over 4,000 executives. In 2007, Fidelity Investments rebranded most of its portfolio holdings and private equity investment services under Devonshire Investors to avoid the risk of confusion with its other consumer-based mutual funds and finance services. In 2009, FMR opened up offices in Tokyo and Hong Kong, which increased their impact in the Asian market. In 2010, Fidelity Ventures, its venture capital arm, was shut down, and many of the employees created Volition Capital. In 2011, Fidelity changed the name of its international division from Fidelity International to Fidelity Worldwide Investment, and a new logo was introduced. In 2012, the company moved its Boston headquarters to 245 Summer Street. In 2014, Abigail Johnson became president and CEO of Fidelity Investments, FMR, and chairman of Fidelity International, FAL. He served in these positions until 2014, when his daughter, Abby Johnson, took over the company's leadership as CEO. At the end of the year 2014, Fidelity Investments valued assets at more than $2.03 trillion. Abigail P. Abby Johnson became chairman of FMR LLC, in addition to being named chief executive officer in 2014. Fidelity Investments offers 401k retirement plan services through its subsidiary Fidelity Personal, Workplace and Institutional Services, PWIS. The subsidiary listed over $1.4 trillion in assets under administration and $32 billion in defined contribution assets as of September 30, 2015. In a watershed moment for blockchain, Abby Johnson speaks about blockchain technology's potential benefits at Consensus 2017, the largest blockchain conference in the United States. She manages over 45,000 employees globally, and all the CEOs of Fidelity's subsidiary companies report to her. In 2018, Fidelity launched a separate entity dedicated to institutional crypto asset custody and cryptocurrency trading.
The founding Johnson family, individually and through various trusts, owns stock representing 49% in FMR and have signed agreements pledging to vote all their shares as a block. Edward Johnson III was the chairman of the group but was replaced by his daughter, Abigail Johnson. Abigail was once the largest single shareholder with about 25%, but in October 2005, it was reported that she sold a semi portion of her shares to a family trust. There were doubts about whether she was still in line to succeed her father. Abigail was named CEO in 2014 and chairman in 2016. Most of the remaining 51% of the shares are held by various Fidelity employees, ex-employees, and fund managers such as Peter Lynch. Let us know what you think about Fidelity Investments in the comment section below. Feature performance. This is Stag Love.